Heyo, my Planet Coaster friends, Johnny5 Alive here, and I am joined with Synchros.
Heyo!
And welcome back to another episode of Park Spotlight. We got one that has like 40 coasters, so be sure to stay tuned and let's check it out. All right, welcome back, everybody. If you guys are new here, be sure to smash that subscribe button. If you end up enjoying the video, leave a like. Come join us on Discord. We have a contest going right now. If you'd like to participate, all the information can be found on Discord. Links are down below. And if you guys enjoy the show and everything that we do here, please do consider supporting it further through our Patreon page. Links are down below. And with that out of the way, let's get into today's creation, which is California Stormland Park, created by NightOP, a beginner builder of the community. So, here they say, Johnny, also please be aware this is my first park, and I have tried. There's been multiple improvements and betas and also fixes to make this map look as legit as I can. The park has many terrain opportunity to see, as everyone's favorite is Desert Forcer and Wooden Dragon. Also, when you enter the park, it says you're missing a file, but it's a file. Okay? Also,
so literal.
Yeah, also, please, Johnny, do nighttime. Thank you. A lot of the rides you can do at night, but some are daytime, but you need to do is have them at night, and you could switch so you get both experiences from night and day is up to you. Also appreciate more feedback on the park, Johnny. Community, it does not matter. It is a criticism or good feedback. I will check Johnny comments. And with all that said, please help me out. Thanks again for the help and the support of the community of Planet Coaster Heart. Okay.
Well, everyone be sure to leave your Johnny comments below.
Yeah, definitely leave your Johnny comments below. Oh, don't comment on me, because I hear that enough. I know. But yeah, comment on the park. Jesus, okay. Johnny, the entrance is over there.
Where is the entrance?
I've heard your feedback 1,000 times, guys. I'm working on it. We're improving daily. But today
I've stopped caring. I just drive right by them. I love pissing everybody off. It's great.
Well, jeez.
You might as well own it, right?
I guess so. All right, let's jump on into the Synchros.
Okay.
That's not
the entrance? That's not an entrance.
There is no park entrance.
There is no park.
No park. Okay, I think I found it. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. No guests in the park. Frame rate's okay today, so that's a bonus. We can go on play mode here. So this is where we enter, through a cave. Whoa. So yeah, there, as you guys would have saw from the B-roll, there are a boatload of coasters. And this is a beginner builder, so we're going to go easy on the feedback, but we're also going to give feedback. And if you guys have critiques, suggestions, and stuff like that, leave them down below, and we'll try to help you out as much as we can. First things first is, your shops and your pathway. And try to get a little bit of theming going on here. Even some pre-made blueprints is perfectly acceptable.
I was about to say, like, grabbing a pre-made blueprint is much or just as easy as grabbing a square. Nothing.
It's easier. Right? Like, doing this trim and stuff, you obviously struggled with it, and that took you more time than just going, bloop, fantasy shop, done.
Yeah. And at least you get you a building that's complete.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, you could use some trees, some painting, some
There's nothing wrong with using the pre-made stuff as long as you're doing it cleverly, right?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't even know. Is this a queue? That is one funky.
That looks like a queue.
Everyone gets mad at me for not going down the queues, but today, I don't know if the queues are that great.
What's up with the floating lights? Okay.
Oh, you said you wanted to see it at night, but yeah, some of these coasters will go on at night, some will go on at day. I think we need a little bit of variation here. What the heck is going on? Okay, now the queue's getting better.
No, this is the priority lane, and it's longer than the queue.
Yeah, the priority lane, you're always supposed to make it so it's short.
But A for effort. There is a priority lane, which is more than some other people do.
But by the time you get through the priority lane, everyone in the regular queue has gone on the ride.
Yeah, no kidding, eh?
Oh, and it takes you to.
Okay. This was the regular queue.
No, that was. Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Jeez.
No, they just shrunk it down.
But that didn't even take us to the coaster I thought we were going to. So,
oh, yeah.
It's like, what is this?
I could have thought we were hitting the green one.
So we have a lot of coasters, so we're going to fly through these today. try to give as much feedback as we can, but there's going to be a lot of them. So we have a wooden coaster with a train swap, looks like. Anyway,
yeah.
So it's the RMC train. Interesting.
Oh yeah, it is too. Okay, that's the is that the one with the light on the front? Malice Unchained.
Yeah, 72 miles an hour. Look at the track length on this though.
That's fairly long.
Your duration's not tested. Looks like a lot of your coasters aren't in test mode, which is odd to me. So let's get on this.
All right.
I'm gonna rattle off some feedback for this one. It is we're not gonna give full feedback on all the coasters today because there's too many of them, but we can point things out here and there as we go. But wooden coasters are one of my favorites, so I'm gonna go ham on this one here, and then maybe in the next one, Synchros could talk out for a little while. But there's
shut up then, sure. No, go for it, man. You're probably gonna say a lot of the same things I have in mind. So,
and if I miss anything, feel free to
absolutely
chime in and add to whatever I'm saying. So, first of all, this block section here is acting a little weird. You have to fix that because that sitting at the top of that second lift is strange. For me, there's too many lifts in general. Like you have a 45-degree angle on all of your hills. With that, we get up to a certain hills where we're just going up 45 degrees, down 45 degrees. And I felt like there are certain spots where you could have, like, especially like this one, it would have benefited if the coaster was going up and down more, right?
Very linear.
Yeah, it's too linear, and you're just gliding along, and then you go down. And then, you know, that second one, I wouldn't even had a lift hill here because we get to about here before we actually start go. Like, we're flying up a lift hill at full speed. So really, if you just would have brought that down here, we would have gotten up and over the hill, and we didn't need that lift hill because we still have enough momentum, we still have enough speed to get up and clear this one. And if not, you could just lower it by like a couple meters. And then at the very, very end, you have another lift hill, and definitely not necessary because we could have made it up and over here. And then soon as we get off that lift hill, what do? Slam on the trim brakes, take us through drive tires. What was the purpose of that last lift hill? Absolutely no purpose at all. But overall, I think you added some banking, but it was too linear going through again. Would have liked to see it going up and down a little bit, banking a little bit harder. There's a few spots where it kind of kinked to the one side. It didn't have any smoothing involved there. But yeah, you got to reduce the amount of lifts and make sure that the lifts are necessary. Go ahead.
What I think happened with the banking is it was added, but by the time you hit the smooth button 100 times on one corner, it smooths it completely out, and you got to readjust that afterwards. And that's, I think, is what happened here. You just keep hitting smooth all, and it completely destroys your banking, especially on those big wide turns. Just wrecks it.
Yeah.
You always got to go back after and adjust the smooth.
Yeah, there really wasn't a whole lot of banking at all. It was just kind of...
it was pretty null on this one.
I mean, you had it just a little bit, but it wasn't quite enough. But like, yeah, coming up here, we... do we actually get a lift up of this one? Yeah, just a little bit. Just bring it down a little bit. You no need to stop the momentum of the coaster. So always feel out the momentum of your coaster. Are we going up a lift hill now because it wasn't necessary? If we would have just lowered that a little bit, we could have continued to make it over. And the answer in this case would have been yes, 3 different times. And then when you have something like this, you're just going up here at Mach 10. It would be much more fun and entertaining if there's airtime hills. That could have been 3 really great like dips in there, right?
Yeah, a lot more than just like a very slight like
slope,
lazing liftly upwards towards the top of the hill, you know?
Yeah. Theming's a little bit off. I didn't really get it because it's like sci-fi, but it's really hard to make a wooden coaster sci-fi. And the only part that was sci-fi apparent was at the end, but there's like random fire, water splashing in our face, and then we're like in some futuristic tunnel. But even the sporting station is not indicative of sci-fi at all. So
yeah, and that's another thing too, is
strange.
it being a park file, you get to the opportunity to make your cues and stuff a little more interactive. So I would strongly suggest spending some more time on your pathing setup for the roller coasters. You did a little bit on our way in.
But as we were coming in, I thought we were going to some Tiki Chiki coaster or something. You
yeah,
know?
it was sort of totally irrelevant to the ride itself. But I mean, at the end, you have like floating lights everywhere. Like put some trees in and stuff just to cover the lights at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, bury your assets and make it look a little neater for sure.
Yeah. Attention to detail. Just make sure you do a second pass on everything. And it's things like the floating pathways I would try to avoid. Things like that. But, I mean, it's not a coaster spotlight, so I think that's like a sufficient amount of feedback, and you can apply that to some of your future coasters as well, but we'll try to point out some things as we go. But the main feedback should be on the park itself, and I definitely feel like these floating pathways aren't doing any good for you. They just look very sandboxy, you know? Like someone...
It looks like you were trying to do a campaign mode and you were just trying to finish by completing the objectives and not really paying attention to what you were doing with the actual park.
Exactly. Yeah. So we have looks like a corkscrew here. What do we have here? Looping shuttle coaster SLV. I'll look at all the stats. Anything that stands out. Another track length that's pretty long on this one. The duration's not showing again.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Let's give it a go.
No airtime.
No.
0.
So again, I think a lot of that feedback that I just gave on the last coaster applies here as well. That second lift hill was not necessary. We could have gotten up there. The coaster ran out of momentum about here. So if you just would have ran it down here, you would have been good. And also, I think you missed the entire point of the looping shuttle SLV entirely. This coaster is actually intended to be a drive tire launch. Is it not? Looping shuttle SLV. Did I lose you, Synchros? I better check Discord. I think I lost Synchros.
I'm on mute and I forgot to unmute myself, and I was trying to talk and you weren't listening because I was muted.
Oh.
That was all my fault.
The Loopy shuttle SLV, it's a drive tire launch coaster, is it not?
You know what? I've never actually built with this roller coaster.
But
so
that's what I'm saying.
know.
It's kind of interesting because you're using the drive tires to get you to the lift, and once you're up the lift, you're using drive tires to push you down the lift, and it completely defeats the point. Whereas this one is supposed to drive tire launch you. At least
defeats the point of a lift.
There's no need for a lift on this coaster
at
at
the end
all.
of the day, if you're
it's optional though, but not.
Yeah.
It should be used as an optional thing, not as a primary thing. You would have been better off using the American. What's it called? The American Arrow.
Vegan or American Arrow or something.
A classic traditional corkscrew. But even then, it doesn't really feel like a corkscrew. It's a little bit strange, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just this big, wide beginning turn when you're going really slow, and yeah, I don't know.
It wasn't very enthusiastic for a corkscrew.
Nothing crazy special at all. And then, I don't know, was that a custom soundtrack? Did we do that?
No, that was a Planet Coaster one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Yeah, it kind of seemed like it sort of had this like eerie, like
the music was
feel
chill
to it. I don't know. I thought it was chill, but it definitely wasn't. I don't know. I don't know. I think there would have been a better thing for it, but.
Yeah, I feel like also getting to your coasters is very confusing. I have this problem.
I'm lost
time
already.
to time.
Oh, right? Is this the entrance?
Well, like this. That's how you have to get to this one, I think. You have to go back in, but that's the exit. So, like, okay, that's the coaster entrance for sure. But you don't even know what coaster you're queuing up for. Like with the first one we went on, I was like, "Where's this going?" And then we took us to a completely different coaster. So we have a Mine Train Canyon Runner from the looks of things, and it's green across the board.
Maybe daytime.
Yeah, let's switch it up once in a while here. Well, we're gonna have to go in track view for this guy because we don't have guests and you can't really experience that.
Yeah.
What's going on with the track view? Oh, there we go. It's the wrong train. Okay, let's go. Super short.
You know what? I actually like that one. I'm not even gonna lie. There was something about it. I was like, that's fun.
It's super short, but
it's terribly like ridiculous, but I liked it.
I still feel like this airtime count should have been spaced out a little bit better. It's very uneven.
Yeah, and you had quite a bit of speed going to the station. I think you could have added a few more things to that one for sure.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I actually
short and sweet.
Yeah. Short and sweet.
Yeah, okay, I don't even know how to get to the next coaster. That's one thing you gotta work on in your park, is because there's so many paths, we can't figure out what the heck is going on.
And there's
it's impossible.
Nothing at all. There's no signs or nothing.
Yeah, and no boarding stations.
Oh, a spinning coaster.
You need directional forces drawing you in, saying, hey, come over here and ride me. So, spinning coaster, is that what it's really called? Interdimensional? Wait, they changed this. This is...
Or is that a new one?
It must be.
You know what? I honestly haven't really been paying attention to what's been coming.
But it looks exact. It looks exact. Yeah, it was the Magnificent Rides that I missed, and I guess they added.
That's off of it.
Yeah, it definitely is. But it's pretty much the exact same, but with a different train.
Yeah.
But it looks way nicer. I like this one.
I do like the card on that quite a bit more.
Yeah. Okay. Let's give it a go. I think we're gonna sit in seat view and let the spin take us away. You know what, Synchros? I just noticed what the difference is. This is 3 spinning coasters a part of a train.
Oh, yeah.
They're linked.
Yeah, for sure it is. Okay.
That's way better.
Yeah. I actually dig that quite a bit.
Definitely. Yeah, it's funny because you definitely see your tendencies between your two coasters, or all your coasters so far. I love this train, spinning train. That's way better in my opinion.
And you know what? I actually thought it worked pretty good with this track layout.
Yeah,
The
not
spinning
too
wasn't
bad.
excessive. I actually kind of enjoyed it. I was like, yeah, this is nice. Just chilling out.
But that second lift again, not necessary. Because you had enough speed and momentum to get through the rest of the course. And honestly, there wasn't much of a course left after that anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
just
coming
kinda
right
dragging-
back into the
you're
boarding
dragging
station.
it on at this point, and it's...
And we're seeing that with all your coasters. So basically our feedback for you is one lift per coaster and figure out how to use the momentum of your coaster to get back to your station. Because I think that's going to be a rolling theme between your creations here today. And here we go again. A maze to the next coaster. There's the queue. I'm not even going to go down it, everyone.
Yeah, no, that's... Ooh, the motorbikes!
Yeah, we don't see these too often. At all. It's a swinging mine train with a trade swap motorbike. I didn't even know you could
Why?
trade swap that.
Why?
Yeah. Why not just use
Why?
it has,
The swinging mine train is like...
at least with the motorcycles, they have a launch track, whereas the mine train does not. And
Yeah,
then you're
that's-
dealing with actual,
This seems very unplanned and random.
it's super random. All right, well, let's judge it after and see what we
I
think.
suppose, yeah.
Don't judge it until you try it, right? It's a first for everything. Here we go. Well, again, that last lift, we had the momentum to get back into the station. You could have just ran it back in, right?
Yeah.
This whole part here, not necessary at all. It's interesting because it had the chillness and the right amount of speed, about 43 miles an hour, about the right amount of speed that you would want to be going for one of these. But it's so strange having a lift when this thing has a launch by nature, right? Hasn't
They
it?
just made it like a flat... Yeah, no, like that's the whole point of the motorbike track. And using the swinging mine train track to begin with means you probably should have used the swinging mine train because it's such a unique coaster on its own and would be great to have in a park.
And doesn't it just seem weird sitting on a motorcycle going up a lift? Wouldn't that be kind of terrifying?
Probably.
It's so strange to me.
And I don't know, this almost seems like a kind of a kiddie coaster.
It's supposed to be. That's what I'm saying. Imagine going up a lift. That'd be
Yeah,
terrifying.
like 100 feet in the air
And
and
you
you're
have
3.
nothing holding you in but like a couple handles and a backstrap. It just seems terrifying. It's supposed to be a low riding coaster. So
Yeah.
it is very peculiar indeed.
And just a huge lack of theming on these.
Definitely. Yeah.
Like there's nothing. It's just like one solid color of
But
like
I
terrain paint.
understand it. This is your first ever park. You're a beginner builder. We want to try to feature a variety of parks. Not every episode should be legends. You know, we got to spread it out a little bit. But you could definitely see the quality difference, and that's something to consider. Is have that like when you're creating something, you go, okay, well, if you want to be a legend, if you want to be a master builder, you want to get up the ranks. What are they doing that's making them where they are? Try to incorporate some of those things. And I'm feeling that there's a little bit of lack of effort in those areas, you know, because the difference between a beginner builder park and an advanced builder park are being attention to the cues, proper signs, the theming. So, you know, at least making an effort at that, even if your building skills aren't up to par, you can always take advantage of the workshop. Like, this stuff is completely unnecessary. And as a builder, as a beginner builder, this is going to keep you a beginner builder.
For sure, yeah.
That's the one thing about park spotlights that is beautiful. You could take someone who's a terrible builder, but they can make an amazing park because it's how you assemble the pieces, the blueprints, because you could take other people's stuff and make your own park, but it's how did you bring it all together with your pathing? How did you do your plazas? How did you do your queues and your entrances to your rides? And that stuff's gonna take you up to advance, just being able to show good compositions, whereas your building skills to be able to make a good shop don't necessarily have to be up to par. You can be an amazing designer, but a bad builder. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And you're not showing us your design skills here. So
yeah, I mean, as far as I can see, other than the odd lamppost and tree, there's like zero effort put into actually theming the park.
I mean, there's exterior effort. That's where I think it comes in, because if you look at it, we have like a snowy area, we have like a little thing over here at the desert.
I mean, that by default's fairly. I mean, yeah, I get that the attempt to differentiate areas is there.
Yes.
But just spray painting an area one color, that takes 3 seconds.
It's not enough. Right.
Yeah.
So the Desert Forcer, here we have what looks to be, oh my god, another looping shuttle.
What are we on now for coasters? This is 5?
5 or 6, something like that, yeah.
Okay.
So this is another looping shuttle, which is interesting, but this one has more inversions, more airtime counts. It's more of a corkscrew from the looks of things. But are you going to take advantage of the shuttle, the actual drive tires? Looping shuttle, I'm pretty sure, hopefully I'm not mixing them up.
No, I think looping shuttle was what the other one was too. No, or was that one called the drive tire shuttle?
The drive tire shuttle, but this one has a lot of drive tire. I'm pretty sure, I mean, I can edit it after and take a look if it has launch tires, but I'm pretty sure the looping shuttle SLV is the drive tire launch. Here we go. Oh, that explains it right there. Those were launch tires. There's certain aspects of that I actually enjoyed, but it was in between all the sporadicness that I was not enjoying.
The launch tires were also fairly sporadic and everywhere too. It's like they were just used as little mini boosts.
Yes.
To keep the train going. Whereas, like, I think this kind of applies to any kind of roller coaster, whether you're doing a launched or a chain lift or a cable lift or whatever. You generally only have one main source of speed on a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
You have one launch, you have one drop, or anything, right? And you kind of work your coaster off of the momentum, off of your one drop speed boost element.
And being able to design a good coaster based off of that momentum, and that momentum only, is really going to take your coaster building skills to the next level. Whereas, like, every time you're feeling like your coaster is not making it up a certain area, you just add in a boost, add in some launch tires.
Yeah,
that's
and I'm
not
definitely
gonna make you better at making coasters.
Yeah, definitely not. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I get like throwing them in there. Like if you're creating something super unique, yeah, sure, have 3 launch sections in your roller coaster. But this is just like a not thought out track design that just like, oh, I'm out of speed, let's throw in a launch. Oh, I'm out of speed, let's throw in a launch. And you have like 6 or 7 or 8 of them at least.
Yeah, a little bit much. But then you had certain aspects like this part right here. This big pretzel. It was really nice. But then it goes right into brakes. And there's one spot where it's like, oh, this is really starting to look good, and then we slammed on some brakes here, and I was like, whoa, like that wasn't necessary. And then obviously now that the coaster has no momentum, you have to hit the launch again, and it was too sporadic, back and forth. So I guess the moral of the story is using the momentum of one source of speed throughout your whole park. All these creations so far.
Yeah, and I think being able to work off of that principle, you'd be able to make some actually pretty decent roller coasters here. Because I mean, you got a lot of elements down for sure. It's just being able to tie them all together in one cohesive layout that needs I've seen
newer builders that are brand new to the game make not use the banking tool, not use the smoothing tool, not use any of those elements. And I think you're like at least one step ahead there in terms of like artistic polish, where that's what we need to see from you in the future. In your next creation, next submission, you have to try and show us what you can do with like a coaster blueprint. Get that boarding station, get that theming, and take the feedback from the coasters today.
I think challenging you, NightOP, to do one coaster blueprint would actually be a good thing to do, because it gets you to focus on one track, one style of theming, more or less, and you get to concentrate on polishing all those things in a coaster blueprint, which is honestly why I love doing those ones the most. Yeah, you get to see some like real quality in them.
To add to what you're saying, it's almost a bit of a shame because we're giving the same feedback on every single coaster. If you just would have done one coaster as a blueprint spotlight before making your park, we would have given you that feedback, and then now all these coasters would be immediately better, right? Does that make sense? Like a lot of people kill for the feedback in their coaster designs, and they improve from coaster to coaster. We're not seeing any improvement between your coasters because you did them all at once. So with that said, I expect big, massive leaps and between your skills, between this creation and whatever we see from you next, because you're essentially getting the feedback that, you know, a dozen builders have gotten over the coaster spotlights in the last month, right? All at once.
Yeah.
So, oh wait, this one, did we already go on this one?
No, it's another one.
Stand Up Enigma switched out with
with the motorbike.
Okay. I'm really curious to know why Frontier even allowed the use of motorcycle swaps on this. Because isn't it seems strange for these to be doing inversions?
Yeah.
Like,
there's an argument against it. We've seen kick-ass
it could be
wooden
fun.
roller coasters doing loop-de-loops.
Yep, and you could do that with the no limits options.
So so there's that there.
I think we're gonna skip on the boomerang. I do see that there.
Yeah.
We're gonna skip on that.
We already rode 2 motorcycles, so.
What do we have here?
That looks like a stand-up again.
It's not really doing anything at all. It's a circle, so we're gonna skip that one as well.
With some hard edges.
All right, let's give the bobsled a ride and this one.
Oh boy. All right, yeah, I'm good with that.
And then we'll leave it there because we're basically beating a dead horse at this point, saying the same things with every single one of these coasters. And what I want to see from you is to take some of that feedback and apply it to your next creation. Or this one. This one actually has some theming. Looking at the track, it's actually pretty short too. It's a figure 8. It's pretty short.
Let's ride the bobsled in the barcast and call it a day.
Okay. So, ice from above, or ace from above. here's a look at all the stats, and it's a bobsled. Let's give it a ride.
Can I get this one?
Go ahead.
All right. You know what? Up until the second lift hill, this was actually a really fun roller coaster.
I was gonna say the exact same thing.
The only reason I can say it was the best one is because you didn't have to worry about banking on this one because the bobsled inherently banks for you. But it was still a fun layout, and it wasn't tight, it wasn't jerky. You actually planned it out pretty well.
Yeah, what you see from a lot of bobsleds is the fact that people are swinging it left and right too much, and you're slamming into the sides. And if this was a RCT, people would be going right over the edges. And yeah, up until I mean, if they would have just not made that a lift, that would have been perfect. But then going into the second half, you lost me. You lost me with all this craziness and the swinging back and forth.
That all could have, like, that was
not necessary, not at all. You should have just brought it back to the station from here. Right,
you had a good
coaster
coaster up until that point, and you lost me too.
Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, I was literally going to say this exact same thing. So we got one more to check out here. Fort Dare. I mean, there's a couple extra coasters, but I think our feedback is being the same for every single one. We want you to take the feedback. You got more feedback than any beginner builder I think have ever featured, all in one episode. But you did do a park after all, and what we want to see from you next time is more theming and less lifts and better use of coaster momentum. Let's jump on this one and see how it goes. Okay, yeah, I would pretty much just copy paste the feedback from that last launch coaster.
Launched, yeah.
Just too many sporadic launches and then you're trimming right after.
Yeah.
And it's just too much back and forth. Focus.
That one had some fun track elements, though. I do got to say, there was a couple of good moments on it.
Yeah, definitely one of the better coasters in terms of inversion count, airtime count. We could see that all there in the stats as well. So definitely one of the better ones for sure. But you have you put the work in. There's a lot going on here. You had fun with it, and I think in order to advance as a beginner builder, we're gonna need to see some theming. We're gonna need to see some improvements on the coaster designs. So I would focus purely on a singular coaster blueprint submission for a coaster spotlight. We feature those way more often, 3 per episode. We feature pretty much a new or beginner builder in every single episode. With that said, look at what I think there was today. I mean, at the time of this recording, we would have featured 2 builders, Owlbear and Hell, and we featured just the day before that Lycan and Twin Temples, both builders. And you can see 4 builders in the last 2 episodes of Coaster Spotlights.
Honestly, every time I grab a Coaster Spotlight, I almost always try and pick out a builder or a new builder.
Of course, we always want to try to give variety, and we're trying to do that with the parks as well. But with that said, I think, this is a lot to build without getting any feedback along the way. What you should be doing with these coasters is utilizing Discord, saying, what do you think of my coaster? Because now you've built so many coasters, and I feel like all of them need to be worked on more. You're not learning as you go, and you're just doing it all at once. And the best way to improve is to do something, get feedback on it, and then try to improve on it in the next one. And that's why I generally think that if you're a brand new builder to the game, try to start small. Try to do these blueprint spotlights. Try to get in, because if you submit something and you're just waiting to get onto the show for a park spotlight, you've done all this work and you haven't improved on any aspect of it, right? So we talked about aspects of improving your path work, your theming, your coasters, and just your overall park layout. I think that's the one thing we haven't really talked on, but there should be some sort of general way bringing you back to the center. It's a chaotic maze. I've talked about mazy parks in the past, and this is probably one of the maziest I've ever seen in coaster history. So bring it all back to a central location.
And honestly, I as far as I don't know, I don't want to speculate, but it's just trying to get into the builder's head here. I don't really think there was a whole lot of effort put into the park aspect of this anyways. It looks like the main focus was the roller coasters, which unfortunately all had the exact same feedback, which could have been accomplished in one blueprint, which reiterates everything we've been saying. So
exactly, with your creations, you want to have a little bit of patience and look at what other people are doing, what the other builders are doing. Try to match that quality or better. So like I said, go check out some of the previous episodes where we have builders which are a rank above you, see what they're doing and how they're getting their promotions and how they're advancing, because we're seeing all these builders coming forward with their just single blueprint spotlights, and they're improving every single time to the point where they're literally ranking up every other creation.
Yep.
So that's the way you're going to improve. But I think there's more. If you're a builder, a beginner, if you're new to the game, this episode alone, you can learn a lot from and apply that to your own creations, apply that to your own parks. And I think that alone should take you to creating something really nice. So
and that's one more thing to mention too, is that we got how many coaster spotlights now? 700.
Yeah.
You got so much to look back on and to take inspiration from. And what I do find is I've seen a lot of builders, and myself included, even when I started the game, I'd been watching the game, and so have a lot of other people, and they've been watching what people have done. They've been seeing all the feedback that they have been getting, and when they get into the game, they already have an idea what should and should not be done, and they start pumping out these amazing creations right off the bat. So that's another thing for a lot of the new builders too, is utilize the channel, because there's not thousands, but there's a ton of footage there.
It's exactly a great point, because it's almost like I've said everything I said in this episode, I've said it at one point in another beginner creation.
For sure.
So
many times. So
yeah, so pay attention to the actual show, and make sure that your quality is setting a standard for the new builders. and try to aim at like an advanced or expert level, even if you're a beginner, because there's certain things that I think anybody can achieve at master quality that don't know how to build. Like I said earlier, you can be a great designer and a bad builder and still be a master builder. All right, I think we've said everything we needed to say for this episode. Thank you, NightOP, for your submission. What did you guys think? Leave your comments down below. If you enjoyed, leave a like. Subscribe for more daily Planet Coaster videos. And if you want to support the show, check out the Patreon and join us on Discord. Links are all down below for everything. And we will see you guys in the next video. Bye now.
Bye now.